They kind of gave up on him with 3 number 2 picks going the other way. Able to score. And, you know, Johnson was taken 4th overall, Jim. And that's 2 years I couldn't quite figure out. Is he a 3? Is he a 2? Is he a shooter? He's a 39% career shooter. I never saw him make enough. Well, Luis Scola.
Oh, boy.
I mean, you got Scola. And Houston's paying most of his contract. And he's a tremendous player. Tremendous player. All that cap room for an ill-fated pursuit of Dwight Howard.
Exactly.
Most of the embassies, Gilbert Arenas and Richard Lewis, and they were guys who declined and had big contracts.
Just kind of fell into it.
The Jenkins-Telfair matchup is interesting because that's for Charles, small, quick players. And Landry with a goal.
Sebastian coming right out of high school. It took him a while. He's made a lot of stops, but he understands that you've got to play defense in this league to be able to play and stay minutes on the floor. He's doing a pretty good job tonight. I've been watching him. He's not a shooter.
Oh, Landry just knows what he's doing. Think of that backcourt for the Warriors, though. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jared Jack, Charles Jenkins, and then a little Brandon Rush at 2. And, you know, Mark Jackson's going to look at, okay, you know, Steph on a certain guy, maybe Jared Jack on a different guy, Brandon Rush for a bigger 2. It's just more options from the coaching standpoint. And Brandon hits a 3 out of the corner. Best of his career.
When the guy makes a shot, I try to find him again.
Morris. So Johnson will track it down.
That's a nice rebound in traffic.
Richard Jefferson grabbing that. Jenkins down the lane, absorbed the contact and put it in. Charles Jenkins was the first person to every practice, and I know he was the first person to every game.
Here's the thing. Because of the injury to Curry last year, a reoccurring injury, Jenkins got to start 28 of 51 games he played in him. That experience is going to pay off.
Jenkins, along with Brandon Rush, Richard Jefferson, Draymond Green, and Carl Landry. Both teams are very small right now. Brandon Rush missing that 3. Shannon Brown able to finish percentage. The 5th best shooter mid-range in the NBA,
CJ?
Charles Jenkins.
Wow. And
that's in the league. And the mid-range jumper is it's a lost art. Everyone either shoots a 3 or gets inside. But
just before the peak of your jump, then you get your legs into it. It makes it a lot easier.
Richard Jefferson's a 78% free throw shooter in his career, but he's 0 for 4 tonight from the line. Warriors have left a lot of points at the line. 13 of 23. Telfair, his quickness there.
That's a heck of a release. Up, make sure it didn't get blocked.
How do you assess the Western Conference in terms of, you've got Oklahoma City, you've got all the stars down with the Lakers. Got a good look at the Clippers last night. They look really good and deep.
Well, Memphis is always going to be there too, and you've got to mention them. They know how to get into the playoffs. The Clippers, if they stay healthy, they'll make noise.
I think Denver's a team people don't appreciate.
Denver's a sleeper. Especially being coached by George Karl, one of the best in the business. What a play.
Jenkins setting up Landry to lay it up and in. That was pretty.
It's tough in the West, Bob, to sum it up. You know what? With all the things that happened in the offseason, the West even got stronger.
It did.
The West got stronger, the East got a little weaker.
Harrison Barnes.
Bob, they had 4 players selected in the top 17 picks in the draft this year. You have to share the ball out.
Right.
One of them was that Zeller kid, not the one out here.
That's right, the other one. His teammate. Warriors had no problem seeing him at the 7th spot in the draft.
Couldn't believe their fortune.
Clock at 9. Yep. Jenkins will bail him out. Missed that 3. Phoenix still play good defense that trip down.
Richard Jefferson didn't help him. When he started, they picked up that dribble.
You got an opportunity to see Sacramento. What review of the Kings?
Well, I'll be very honest. I don't know what they're going to do with that former rookie of the year,
Tyreek Evans.
I just don't know what position he is. And DeMarcus Cousins, if anybody can handle him, Keith Smart can.
Jeremy Tyler. Robinson from Kansas.
Well, the jury's out. He's got a lot to learn. I hardly noticed him. Let me put it that way. I hardly noticed him when he was playing.
Green living that out.
Can't get the roll. But I'm very
point guard.
I just wonder about Minnesota and how can Brandon Roy, who had to retire because of the bad knees, how they all of a sudden get well? And it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out for the young man. I wish him the best. I love him.
And how fast can Rubio get back? And Kevin Love broke his hand.
That's the whole thing. Team. They were one of the up-and-coming teams, certainly in the West.
You know that Nikola Pekovic as Jenkins, what a move down the lane, and he took a hard fall there. They've been able to practice as a unit. They've had Dave Bjorkgren and Vitaly Potapiko have been here, the coaching staff,
and that's probably where you'll see Gilburn, who's in right now, right, playing Miss Morris.
I think the one roster decision, we have not seen Kent Bazemore as yet, but Terrence Kinsey. And Terrence Kinsey may have a
He had some great games when he was in Memphis.
He did.
Remember that.
Look inside, and Gilmore. Charles Jenkins.
He's a good player.
Well, another four-year college player. In fact, he redshirted. He was the conference defensive player of the year. The Warriors liked him for a long time at Old Dominion, following him in the tournament. Marquise Morris, nice move.
Nice spin move.
Bazemore handling now, and his calling card really is the defense, Jim, at the 1 and the 2 spot.
Nice long arms.
Travel.
Hard to speculate because they haven't seen a lot of playing time in the preseason.
Right.
Because they're trying to bring in the climate.
P.J. Tucker with that last bucket. He'd been in the league before. Played overseas. But in Germany a year ago. Gilmore drops in a jumper.
I'm happy for him. That is not his strength. He's more of a defender as well. Not a big scorer at Vanderbilt.
Zeller's missed a couple shots. And Jeremy Tyler will get the freebie. Doesn't count for much other than getting minutes and getting looks, but it's still fun to shoot 57% from the field and 50% on when he's ready.
Oh, shoulder.
Do you think that the growth of Zeller, Harrison Barnes, how would you assess it?
Here's the deal. Mark Jackson wanted for the game about last night's game. He thought that was good because you've got to learn how to lose and how to respond. Been one of those guys that just, was disappointing and didn't know how to play. The Warriors didn't finish at 6-2. I mean, he held his position in the middle extremely well. I have some questions, and as well as one of them right there setting the screen. I don't know about Jeremy Tyler and progressed from last year. Can he understand the game and the nuances? Too many traveling violations last night, and that should not happen.
P.J. Tucker able to flip that in. Games or be limited in minutes as he works his way back in. When Zeller subs out, you become very small. You've got David Lee and Carl Landry. So your point about Tyler's, could he give you something? Groin injury all preseason. It's been kind of a lost preseason for him too. That's happening. Gilborn comes from the weak side nicely. Marquise Morris. Warriors are going to get a look at the Phoenix Suns. Halloween. Interesting first week because the Suns and then Memphis at home. And then right down they play the Clippers and head up to Sacramento. So the Warriors going to open the conference at the very beginning. We're going to talk to Harrison Barnes before we get out of here and play Barnes. Bazemore flips that up and out.